There's something that I repeatedly had happen as a writer, which is that despite the fact that I did a lot of writing, and I think my writing is good, it's definitely publishable. I've been a journalist and a published author for a quarter century. I just sort of kept stalling. I was listening to a podcast about professional writing, and it was done by two people in the publishing industry, and they said, what really distinguishes successful writers is not the inherent genius of their writing, but two qualities, quantity and persistence. And I was really struck by that because I definitely had the quantity, but I did not have the persistence. And so in order to remind myself of it, I had it embossed on a plate, which I now keep on my computer. Delightfully, persistence is misspelled on this, which is either my fault or the the artist's fault. I don't mind. I feel like it makes it more folk art. But I look at that to remind myself every day that I need to make sure that I'm focusing on both. And in fact, I think that there's a triangle of things that you need to worry about in order to be a professional writer. You can have something of a career with two sides of the triangle, but if you don't have all three, it's going to repeatedly stall. And those three sides are quantity, persistence, and competence. And I know it seems strange, the idea that people can be successful without any competence. It's strange until you think about people you know who are successful. Quite a few of them lack fundamental competence in a lot of what they're doing. I was falling down because of a lack of persistence. I would do an awful lot of writing, and I would panic about my career not advancing, and so I would start working on producing more work or looking at how good my work was to try and make it as good as possible. But I also was just putting it up on the web or sending it out to one opportunity and then getting frustrated and not continuing with it. My suggestion is, if you find yourself stalling, look at the triangle. Ask yourself if there's areas in competence that you can increase, and that can be the quality of your writing, but also your professional competence, how you write query letters, how fast you respond to email, how well you network. Look at the quantity you're producing. Even if you're producing absolute masterpieces, if you're only doing one piece every 10 years, you're going to be limited in how much success you're going to be able to have. And look at your persistence. And again, that was where I was really falling down. Ask yourself, am I submitting to as many opportunities as possible? Am I letting myself say no for the other person? People who do contests or are publishers or in the industry, they're perfectly capable of saying no. You don't have to do their work for them. I'll say there's a limitation to the triangle. There are things that are out of your control. There's a great deal of privilege in the industry, and privilege can often fill in for one or even two of the sides of the triangle. You'll see that people often rise to the top not based on elements of the triangle, but based on who they know or what their situation is in society. But we don't have any control over that. All we have control over is that little triangle. And that's been very helpful to me. Every time I feel like I'm stalling, I just take a look at that triangle and ask myself what I can improve on. And really the focus has been on hugely improving on persistence. And more than anything, that has changed this past year of my life in publishing, from being someone who got published extremely intermittent to someone who's published quite frequently. There are buttons. Feel free to press them if you're enjoying this. It'll keep sending information your way. I'm going to put information down below the screen about my own writing and where else you can find me.